Hey everybody, welcome to another We're at War. Today we're going to switch things up a bit and take a look at a different game. Don't worry, Star Wars. Next week there's plenty to talk about with you in the new expansion, but for now it's time for a little strategy gaming. So, as I said before, I'm looking at Endless Legend. It is sort of like Civilization. Now, I'm a huge Civilization fan. Back before I got my first computer, that the original Civilization was the game that I read about, I looked forward to. I bugged my friends who had it. It was the premier game that I wanted to play on the computer. And when I got my first computer, I bought that the same day with it. And it consumed many hours of my life. And it just continued through 2, 3, 4, and 5. So when a game comes out that's like Civilization, I tend to take notice. Now, I won't say Endless Nation is exactly like Civilization, because it's not. There's a bunch of pretty big differences. But as far as polish and quality, it is definitely up there. The folks who made this game definitely took a lot of time and effort to make it look great and add a lot of interesting features. So let's take a little look. So the first thing you'll note is there's a lot of hexes. This was actually an option. You can choose irregular shapes too, but I'm a big fan of hexes. I think they look cool and are great for strategy games, so I chose to make it hexified. Let's take a look at the map. As you can see, it's pretty big. I'm on a huge map here, and it wraps around. So there's plenty to go around. I've only explored a little bit in this game. I'm on turn 60 right now, and I have 2 cities. I chose the Vault Keepers because they're kind of like dwarves, but they're humans who lived underground, I think. And they got some cool technology. They like knowledge. They like metal and stuff like that, so it's right up my alley. And zoom back in, and it goes to the terrain view. The terrain looks excellent, by the way. You can zoom pretty far in. A lot of cool little features. And one of the really neat things is there's the concept of seasons. So there's summer and winter. I don't think there's fall and spring. I haven't seen fall and spring. But winter provides some penalties, and it also changes the landscape. So everything will be whiter. You'll see wind blowing across. It's really cool. All right, let's take a look at some of the screens here. This is just the overview screen. One thing the people who made Endless Legends really do is they show you all the information. So as you can see here, all your bonuses, the tooltips are everywhere and provide all sorts of information. So you're never without information with this game. So even here it tells you where I'm getting my dust, which is just their term for gold in Civilization speak, and where it's going. Influence points, where I'm getting that. My resources. So they also have the concept of strategic and luxury resources, although they have different functions. So you use strategic resources to build stuff, and you use luxury resources as boosts. So let's look at gold, for example. If I use it as a booster, I get 50% less upkeep and plus 5 approval on cities. That's kind of useful, but it costs 15 gold to do the boost, and it lasts for 10 terms. I have 2 gold mines, so I'm producing this at a pretty good pace, so I can probably keep this active most of the time, if not all the time. And as far as I can tell, it doesn't have much any other use, whereas in Civilization, it would provide happiness to your empire, and that was pretty crucial. I also have a spice farm, and its effect is 50% food and plus 5 approval. So that could be useful too in the winter months when there's less food and stuff like that. I have a strategic resource. I've actually discovered this in ruins. I don't have a glass steel extraction facility, but you can use these can be used to build equipment, but they can also be used as a booster. So this increases dust by 20%. It has research. And it's not really, there's different tiers. So it goes all the way up to tier 6. And you have to research. You have to research enough in one tier to unlock the next tier. But it has all sorts of city improvements, units, pretty much what anything you could imagine. Otherwise, it works pretty much like Civilization. Your cities produce science points. Science points go in here. Research what you want, and then move on to the next tier and keep research. You don't have to move on next tier. I could research stuff on the previous tier still too. But once you unlock the tier, everything's available. There's also the concept of quests. There is a faction quest that you get when you start the game, and there's also side quests which you can get from exploring ruins, and they provide different objectives, and you get different kind of rewards. So you can get commodities as a reward and things like that. There are also heroes in the game. I've only gotten the one so far. But heroes can command your armies or improve your cities. So here's my one hero. Petrov Judith III. I think it's a she. She gains experience. There's tooltips and everything for this too. She has equipment which you can improve. See down here. And she has skills. And you can see the tooltips over here. And you can get more than one hero, so you definitely want to have heroes controlling your armies. They add nice power boost. You have the concept of armies, which are groupings of units. So as you can see here in the first Stone Legion, I have Marine, a Tedic, and another Marine. The Tedics are pretty interesting. So there's this concept of minor races in each region. So let's see here. In Ladora over here, there's this town, which is the Garan. And they can also have roaming armies, so basically you can destroy these minor civilizations, build their town back up, and then assimilate them in your empire. And by doing that, you get access to their special unit. So the Tedic is my special unit. I subjugated their villages in my region and assimilated their culture so I can build that special unit. It's a nice, neat flavor thing and add something interesting. You can only assimilate so many, so you kind of want to be choosy. Look around a little. So here's a nice mineral-rich anomaly. You get 6 production from it, 2 science and 2 dust. So that'd be a nice one to have a city near. You have unspoiled ruins, which are like barbarian camps in Civilization, where if you, maybe not barbarian camps, forget what they're called, but you can get all sorts of stuff from them by just exploring them. Here's an example of the Delvers, which I raised their town. So if I build a city in here, I can assimilate them. So there are regions. You can only build 1 city per region. So as you can see here, I have 2 cities, but I control both regions. So there's not as much city spam as there might be in other kind of games. And anything in the region you can build an improvement on. So if we go down to the south part of this region, you see these buildings on top of these hexes. They're extractors. So I have a spice on this one, and this is a gold, so I have 2 extractors, and they all feed into my empire. I see here's another gold I have that's feeding in with this new city. And that's all this one has. I'm also rebuilding this village. Overall, it is a pretty cool game though. Hopefully this video has told you a little bit about it. You can decide for yourself if it's something you want. I got off of Steam. There was the Founders Pack. I paid the extra $10 because you got some stuff in-game, like new minor factions and new heroes, things like that. I thought it was worth it since I like these kind of games. I'll eventually get my money's worth. Alright, that about covers it. See you guys next time.